Here we go. Welcome back to Recap Roundtable by the Institute of Clinical Excellence. Today we are talking about the CrossFit Open Workout 20.4. We have Christina Previtt with us, faculty member in our fitness athlete division, as well as our older adult division. Dustin Jones, faculty member in our older adult division. We have Jeff Moore, the president and CEO of the Institute of Clinical Excellence. And we have, who is not on video, if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, not on video because he is driving, is Zach Morgan, who teaches in our lumbar and cervical spine courses. So 20.4 was very fun. I thought so anyways. The workout, if you didn't hear, was a longer workout. It was 30 box jumps or step-ups. Those were allowed in substitution. 15 clean and jerks, 30 more box jumps or step-ups, 15 more clean and jerks, 30 more box step-ups or box jumps, 10 clean and jerks, and then it transitioned to 30 single leg or pistol squats, 10 clean and jerks, 30 more of those pistols, 5 clean and jerks, and then finally 30 more pistols, and then 5 clean and jerks. Each time with the clean and jerks, the weight went up and up and up, finishing that last round with 315 for the guys and 205 for the ladies, which is on the heavy side. Longer workout, 20-minute time cap, with most folks getting to that third or fourth barbell, very few getting to that last weight. So with that being said, as somebody, probably one of the few people on this call who can actually lift heavy weight with a clean and jerk, Christina, what were your thoughts on 20.4?
Yeah, so I did it this morning.
Okay.
Super fun. For anybody who is just kind of chiming into this for the first time, I'm 6 months postpartum, so all this stuff is challenging my pelvic floor and allowing me to think about all the things I teach about in our pregnancy and postpartum course. So the first time I've been doing box jumps, which is a ton of impact on the pelvic floor where a lot of incontinence issues can happen. First time doing pistols, which require a ton of pelvic stability. So thankfully I was able to do both. I ended up doing, I got through all the pistols and I had like 30 seconds to get onto the 175-pound barbell and just wasn't gonna risk it. I was gassed. I ended up doing a 5-rep max back squat yesterday, which probably wasn't, like if I was trying to optimize my performance, probably not the best thing to do for a leg heavy workout, but all good. So the workout itself, I thought was super fun, super fun. I did 5 box jumps just to check my pelvic floor, especially under fatigue. It was all good. And then getting onto the bar, I just tried to do these in singles. I wasn't trying to rush through the first barbells. Like it's kind of boring at the beginning because the weight is light when you're at 65. So the women's bars went 65, 85, 115, 145, 175, 205. And it wasn't until we got into like the 145s where I was like, this is starting to get spicy, and those 30-pound jumps, you're really starting to feel them. So I would have liked if I would have gotten one on the 175. I haven't power cleaned, which 175 is about 80 kilos. I haven't power cleaned that in a while. My max power clean was 91, like 200, but as a weightlifter, not as a CrossFitter, so like not under fatigue as much. But yeah, this workout was super fun. If you could keep form and you weren't losing your positions a lot, was just much better overall in terms of performance. But overall, it was a super fun workout. I really liked it.
So you did jumps instead of step-ups?
So I did 5 jumps each round. So I wanted to kind of test my pelvic floor under different levels of fatigue, and then I just went to step-ups after that.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty boring to just like do 30 step-ups, really. Like if you paced it well, like it was only 20 inches high, so it wasn't super high.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of had to get through it, and you're just like, okay. The pistols, however, holy moly. My other therapist did this workout with me, and she has much better ankle dorsiflexion than me, so she was like, pistol, 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 and I was like, I hate you, because you were just getting down, getting back up, no problem, and I'm dying over here trying to do my ankle dorsiflexion. So I can definitely tell I have a restriction on my left, not my right. So I was like coming up onto my toe on my left, super ugly, and my right, I was like down and back up. And so definitely something I should probably be working on.
We sold a lot of Versa lifts with this workout at the gym for everybody in the tight ankle club. Cool. I love to hear all that, especially the pregnancy and postpartum aspect of it, of testing your pelvic floor integrity with box jumps and pistols. What are you
That's the tea.
thinking? What are you hoping to see in 20.5, the last workout coming out Thursday?
Um, so I'm kind of hoping that it's a little bit more of like a mental toughness cardio style workout, and then you buy into something higher level gymnastics. So like wall balls, rowing, things like that, even air squats, and then start adding in things like bar muscle ups, chest to bar. We haven't seen any pull ups or anything in the workout, so I hopefully don't see ring muscle ups. I definitely can't do those anymore. I was bad at them when I was doing CrossFit. I was going to be horrible at them now. But yeah, so that's what I'm kind of hoping, that you can at least get to a point where you can stand underneath the rings for 10 minutes if necessary, but you can do a little bit at the beginning of the workout.
Get a little bit of work done. Yeah.
Chipper style.
Yeah.
A big chipper.
Say that again.
A big chipper.
Big chipper. I would.
That'd be fun.
Let's throw it to Zach, who, if you're watching again on Facebook or YouTube, you won't see his camera. He's in his car, but and he's got a little bit of background noise, so forgive him. But let's throw it down to Zach Morgan and get your thoughts, Zach, on 20.4.
Yeah, this was the dreaded one for me. I've been hoping the pistols would never show up in the open, and sure enough, here they are. For reference, I hadn't done a pistol on my left leg since 2012, and the reason I'm so sure of when that was is we took a team when I was in college to regionals, and at that time, they kind of announced the regional workouts ahead of time, and we had this workout where you rode 1,000, and I think you did 50 alternating pistols, and then you ended with hang power cleans at 225. And there were two of us on the team that could handle that hang power clean with weight. And unfortunately, the other dude on our team could have easily done the pistols, but the power cleans were an issue. So I had to figure them out at that time. But from that time on, I for whatever reason, it was just one of those stroke of God things where they came to me and I could do them that day. But then as soon as we left the venue, I've never been able to do them on my left leg again. So I fully intended to get to the pistols in this, nail one on my right leg, and then just stand around the rest of the time. So I guess you could say I was a little pleasantly surprised because I got through them. Again, I got another stroke and stroke of God and just nailed a few on the left. And by the end of it, I actually got to the point where I was moving pretty well through my left. So this one was a little disappointing in hindsight because I felt like, man, if I had warmed up right and done a few things like that, I probably could have got a little further. But I got the first set of 30 done, and then I did the 225 clean and jerks, which honestly, the first set of 30 had taken me so long that I was recovered, and the 225 clean and jerks were really easy. Then got trapped in the next set, but I was like, man, if I this was the closest I've been to redoing one, because I felt like if I redo this, I could get to that 275 bar, and I think I could have definitely nailed a couple reps at 275 if I could have got there, but I decided not to redo it just because I was not keeping beautiful form on that left side. So
what are you hoping to see in 20.5? I know before you were hoping for muscle ups. Are you still hoping for muscle ups?
Yeah, I think it's always good to put your money where the odds are, and I think we're going to see something that feels like Fran. I know we had the dumbbell thrusters earlier, but I guess we would be really surprised if we don't see barbell thrusters. And what I would really love for it to be is something that like kind of you ascend. So like maybe it starts out very traditional Fran where it's just plain thrusters and plain pull-ups. And if you get to a certain point, you get to thrusters and chest to bars. And then if you get to a certain point, you get to thrusters and muscle ups. And maybe with that weight ascending too, I would love to see something like that. It would feel horrible, don't get me wrong, but I kind of, for some reason, love that.
If you follow myself or Mitch Babcock on Instagram, we were playing around this morning, writing down different ideas on our whiteboard, and he predicted something very similar with a heavy thruster and chest to bar, and then I predicted pretty much what Zach said, that it would ascend in weight on a thruster and an increase in skill on the pull up, from pull up to chest to bar, maybe chest to bar to muscle up or something like that. Some sort of switch in the difficulty there and the skill and the weight on the barbell.
I would love to see that, but we'll see what it brings. If it's 19.5, I'm going to be really disappointed because that one was so painful.
Yeah, 19.5 for those who don't know, that was last year's, well, I guess still this year's, last season's workout. That was 33:27, 21:15.9 of thrusters and chest to bar pull-ups, and the weight was still 95.65, right? With a 20-minute time cap,
Yep.
which was just totally awful. Not very many people finished. Most people spent a couple weeks with hand rehab, getting some skin grafts after all those pull-ups. I would actually like to see that now that my pull-ups have gotten better and I've gotten stronger. I wouldn't mind redoing that if you're listening, Dave Castro. I would appreciate low skill, high grunt work type of workout like that. Let's throw it down to Jeff, who is a couple weeks now into his calf rehab. Another workout that he should have been able to do with the step-ups, maybe not the pistols. So let's hear what Jeff has to say about 20.4.
Yeah, so I made my way through. I scaled, so I did step ups, and then I don't have pistols, so I was gonna do no matter what the medicine ball step ups. So that's what I did. It was awful. I can't push off my left leg yet, so I'm kind of like throwing myself onto the box. I'm carrying the medicine ball. That was a real just disaster to watch. So it was pretty ugly. Kind of hurt my back because I'm like throwing myself up there and down. I couldn't land on my left leg. The whole thing was pretty painful to spectate. But anyhow, I got through the 135 bar on the clean and jerks, and then I ran out of time. I'm not sure how I would have done on 155. That's getting pretty heavy for me. I think I would have been too worn out for it. But the 30 step-ups take forever. Like, yep. I mean, I felt like, my God, especially the way I was doing it. But I mean, in general, I think even feeling good, that would have taken me a long time. So I was glad I got to move through it. Kind of standing all day in class, Saturday and Sunday, 10 hours each day. My back's pretty sore this week, but I'm hoping to get through this last workout and then kind of repair everything and get back to it.
I think a lot of people are feeling that way this last week of the Open, kind of just ready for it to be over. Feels a little bit like to be a competitive athlete and just feel kind of wrecked after being in season and looking forward to a little bit of an off season. I think that feeling is shared among a lot of CrossFitters. Let's hear from Dustin Jones, who doesn't spectate on anything or speculate. Will just tell us about the workout and then not indulge us with any sort of speculation, which is not very fun.
No, there's no point. No point.
What did you? What was the term you used last week?
It's called mental masturbation, is what it's called.
This is a family show. You can say that
get
word.
around and discuss something that they have no control over whatsoever. Mental masturbation. Yeah, so
we're gonna get censored by the FCC now.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. So 20.4. I did it Friday morning. So Mom Fit, the typical crew. We had a solid class. There's over 20 people there, so it was a fun group of individuals. For the mere mortals in the room, people like me, we saw this workout announcement, and it was similar to, was 20.3 the handstand push-ups and handstand walks?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
So it's similar to that workout where when someone like me looks at that workout, I know I'm only potentially going to be able to do half of it. And the first half is going to be rather challenging if, one is to try and go RX. So immediately what I saw was awesome box jumps. I was a long jumper in college. Like, that's my jam. I'll do that all day. However, putting a heavy bar over my head is the absolute worst, just like becoming inverted. So for me, I saw 185 and I was like, okay, I'm either going to fail several times, or I'm going to get my PR in that last bit. So we got going, and for me, I was just kind of taking my time, just conserving for getting to that 185 bar and just going after it. So I was doing left up and then right up and then the jump, and that, I think that's what Christina did as well, and that made the box jumps mentally and physically. I felt pretty good coming off of it, and I started off with singles, felt good. 135 was fine, and then I made it to the 185 bar at I forget what the tie break time was. It was like 14 minutes or something like that. So I had 6 minutes staring at this freaking bar. And this was the cool part. And this is what I loved about the kind of the setup of this workout. So it wasn't like Friday Night Lights. So However, the way it was, we had the boxes going down the middle of the gym, and then on either side, people had their barbells. And so at that point, at that time of the workout, most people are doing singles if they're on the bar, and they're taking a decent amount of rest. And in my kind of corner of the gym, we had Kelly, who is a coach, and she's a former teams athlete. She's been to 3 different CrossFit Games competitions back in the day. She's a beast. We had Kaiser, who crushes me every time, and then this other girl that's super strong too. And the way that we were sequenced was one would go for a rep, we would all be cheering each other on, then the other one would go. So we were kind of sequentially going kind of in this square, and that got me hyped up, and that was super cool because I haven't had many situations like that where there were 4 people where we were all doing the same movement, trying to go heavier and heavier each time. And that was cool. So I got 6 reps at 185. So that was a PR for me. So I was happy. And then ran out of time. So it was a good experience. And yeah, just really, I will never forget that last 6 minutes of all of us kind of taking our turns, getting a hit at that barbell. So that was pretty cool. I could care less what comes this Thursday. Yeah, bring it.
You know what? I'm not going to let you get away with that this week. Gun to your head, name 2 movements above all other movements that you would like to see paired together.
Well, I don't have a very informed opinion. I haven't like geeked out on like previous games,
Well, don't worry about
workouts and trends. But muscle ups, I mean, based on what I've heard, that seems like that is almost a guarantee. And I actually would like to see that because I haven't done too many muscle ups since I was in Fenton last year, right? Yeah, that workout had muscle ups, and Nick Previtt was judging me, and I think I did like 8. I need to go back and look, but I was like really surprised about that. I'll never forget Jeff Moore's face when he got that repetition. Stared through my soul on the sideline. It was pretty amazing. But other than that, I would just be guessing for another movement. But I'm gonna put my money on hopefully a bar muscle up. A ring muscle up would be.
What would you
disastrous.
like to see? Not what do you think we'll see. What would you like to?
Wall balls.
Wall
Balls all day.
That makes sense.
Get 6'2", Marfan's syndrome. Give me that 20-pound medicine ball, and I will knock those out.
You heard it, folks. Dustin Jones, wall balls, and bar muscle ups. You're listening, Dave Castro.
The most uneducated opinion of all.
Who knows? Anything's fair game. Well, I like this workout a lot. This is a workout for me that a year ago I would not have liked to see because it had a whole bunch of stuff that I was bad at, which is kind of the point of doing this and retesting yourself year after year. Used to not be able to jump onto a plate, so being jumping up and stepping up to a 24-inch box all 90 times was very cool to be able to do. That weight, so I only got through the 185 bar for the clean and jerk, but that weight was a PR clean for me during last year's Open. So to be able to clean and jerk it now was pretty cool. Like Dustin said, it was fun to. Well, this workout was awful to judge and super awesome to judge at the same time because counting step-ups is awful. I never want to count a step-up again. But seeing people just make it rain with PRs on their clean and jerk was super electric in that last 5 to 10 minutes of every heat. And then I got 1 pistol on my left leg, which surprised me. I expected to get 0 because my ankles are so tight, but my left ankle has improved a lot. I have like 6 degrees of active dorsiflexion now, which was enough to sneak out a pistol and a pair of lifters. Right ankle, not budging. Still 0 degrees of dorsiflexion. Didn't happen. So got 1 pistol and called it quits on the workout about 17 minutes in. Was happy to get through the 185 bar. For me, more than my own performance on this workout, I was super happy to have so many people in the gym who have come to see Mitch and I since the last Open over this spring, summer, fall, who not only came for maybe shoulder pain, but shoulder performance, and just seeing the progress they made on their overhead lifting by really getting their shoulders brutally strong, doing stuff with the bamboo bar and doing a lot of stuff with overhead stability and rotator cuff stuff, and seeing folks who had pain in last year's Open who now have no pain with overhead lifting and are some folks putting 20, 30, 40 pounds above their PR over their head multiple times was super cool to see over this weekend. So that's what got me jazzed up, is seeing so many people do so well and just hearing people screaming across the gym over and over again with PRs on their clean and jerk. And I know Mitch feels the same way. He's not here. He's probably shirtless somewhere, cracking somebody's neck. That seems to be his jam. He'll listen to this and yell at me tomorrow. Sorry, Mitch. I love you. 20.5, I think we'll see barbell thrusters because we have always seen that in the 5th workout of the Open. Different feeling with a light barbell thruster than those heavy dumbbell thrusters, so I think we'll see that. We haven't seen pull-ups. I think we'll see pull-ups. I would love, like Christina said, though, to not just see some sort of Fran variation with something on the bar and thrusters. I would love to see some sort of chipper that does involve thrusters and pull-ups or muscle-ups, but also bring in rowing, bring in wall balls, bring in some varied movements that we haven't seen yet in this Open. So I would love to see kind of a crazy, I don't know, maybe even like 25-minute longer time domain chipper of just a whole bunch of stuff thrown together. Hey, I like to go long. Sorry, I'm not a 2-minute workout guy. I'm like a marathon row type of guy. So when most people panic when they see a 20-minute AMRAP, I think perfect. Here's my workout. When everybody else is falling off, I'm just getting started. That's my jam. So I would love to see something like that with a super long chipper of a whole bunch of different stuff smashed together. Ideally where most folks can get through a little bit of it, maybe start with a lot of rowing and wall balls and pull-ups before we get into heavier lifting or more complex gymnastic movements. I think people it is important to test our fitness with this, but I do think, like Dustin said, people get disappointed when they look at the workout and think, oh, if I go RX, I'm only going to get through 4 minutes of exercise. Which again is kind of not the point. If that's your mindset, you should probably be doing the scaled version, but nonetheless, people like to do as much as they can. So it'd be cool if the high work, low skill stuff was front loaded, and then those folks who have the skills and the strength to move on are able to move on and do higher level stuff at the back end of the workout. So that's what I'm hoping for. And mainly, I'm just excited for it to be done because it's a lot of work logistically to run heats at the gym and deal with all the back end stuff that goes with the Open, notwithstanding the physical fatigue that it brings on. So ready for it to be the off season. So I've learned that the most in this past couple years is what it feels like to be a competitive athlete, and I don't care for it at all. I don't know how folks go through this. On for a bunch of weeks, off, on, off. It's exhausting and anxiety driving. So I'm ready for it to be over with and to have an actual full year before the next one. Other closing thoughts before we leave. Jeff and I will be doing this together, actually. We'll be teaching in Milwaukee this weekend. So Jeff's flying into Chicago. I'll be driving out there with our friend Rachel, and we'll be meeting our friend Kelly. And the 4 of us will be doing 20.5 in Chicago before we go up to Milwaukee. So that'll be super fun to throw down with the old man here, see what he can get done with his calf. Maybe give him some treatment before we start, front load some treatment, and see if we can get him a little bit further into the workout than he'd be able to otherwise. Other thoughts before we wrap it here, team?
You brought up a good point about the why behind the Open. Like, why are we participating, and just being super clear on those goals. Because these workouts come out, and I mean, you got to make a decision. Like, do you want the stimulus for adaptation, or are you viewing this like a checkup? Like an annual checkup, and that's going to really dictate, what you choose and the path that you take. And that's been helpful to think more about, and is what made it fun for me. Like, granted, I'm weak, I'm not competitive whatsoever, but this is just like, for me, I'm relatively new as well, but it's just been fun. Like, it's just been the annual checkup, if you will, and seeing kind of where I'm at. But I can see how this could be a terribly stressful situation, and people have a lot of their identity wrapped around their performance in like a workout, for example. So it is interesting to think about some of those dynamics and just to really ask the why for these workouts. Was it Chris Spieler? He had a post, was that yesterday, that you shared?
Mm-hmm.
That talked about, remember when CrossFit was fun? And it, I have not been doing it that long, so it's still fun for me, but it's been cool to just get that perspective of how it has become not very fun for many people, and just to learn from their perspective. So yeah.
Yeah, and I would say, like, it's not fun to suck at stuff. Nobody likes to be bad at stuff, but you don't.
Yeah.
I think what the Open teaches us is where your holes are at, and to me, that's fun because I get to know what I'm bad at exactly, and I get to know for the next year what I need to hammer down on. And I think that's helpful, not something that a lot of athletes receive from their tests in other sports, is they don't exactly get told what motions or movements or range of motion or strength they need to work on when they're maybe playing football on Sunday like we do in CrossFit. We know exactly what movements, if we need to get stronger, we need to get a better aerobic base, we need to get more gymnastic skills. We learn that through the Open. And I always tell my athletes here, like, if you don't think you're going to get very far into the workout, I would still do it RX, because then when you look back on this in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years, you can say, wow, look how far I've come. And then I always tell them, there's nothing wrong with, once you've gotten as far as you've gone RX, to switch to the scaled version if you still want to get your sweat on, or do the RX version on Friday, come back Monday and do the scaled version with your friends, and still get a really, really, these are quality workouts that are really going to tax you. Even scaled, running through these scaled will still give you a really good burn. So do both, do RX, then switch to scaled, but see where you're at and get that assessment.
Yeah, I view it the same as like functional outcome measures too.
Exactly.
Like trying to standardize things, control those variables, and then you can get a cleaner comparison. Yep. Sorry, I think I interrupted you, Christina.
No, you guys are just convincing this weightlifter that she should probably do some work capacity. Triples and a clean and jerk don't count as cardio, I guess, most of the time. But if you've done clean and jerk triples, then you know what I mean.
I did 5x10 back squat yesterday, and I shared with Christina that I will never make fun of an Olympic weightlifter again, because after that first 10, I did not want to do the other 4x10. That was strength and cardio in a way that I'm not comfortable with on a regular basis. So.
Oh yeah, hypertrophy squats are the worst, and weightlifters have to do them all the time.
I don't care for that, but I do want to get stronger. So those are the breaks. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll be back one more time next week. We'll talk about 20.5, whatever that may be. Dave Castro, if you're listening, give me a better hint than owls being murdered. That wasn't very helpful.
That was super accurate, though.
Super accurate. And then we'll have hopefully some more faculty on here and kind of give our impressions of this year's Open in general, with a little physical therapy twist, as we tend to do. So join us next week. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. Thanks, guys.
Adios. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.